They told me I didn't belong at the table. They told me women shouldn't be involved in business. They told me I was just a housewife, unemployed, irrelevant. What they didn't know. I secretly owned the company that had been keeping their entire family business alive for almost a year. Tonight, at their perfect American Thanksgiving dinner, I was done being silent. Tonight, they were going to learn who I really was. It was the kind of Thanksgiving dinner Americans brag about. Huge New England mansion. Golden chandeliers. A 24-pound turkey right in the center of the table. 17 people seated. All perfectly dressed. All perfectly judgmental. And me, Alina Monroe Parker, the only outsider. Richard Parker, my father-in-law, carved the turkey like he was leading a board meeting. Then he said it. Loud enough for everyone to hear. Women don't belong in business discussions. Especially unemployed ones like you. People chuckled. Someone whispered, true. Someone else said, she's pretty though. My husband, Ethan, froze mid-bite. He didn't defend me. He never did. His mother, Evelyn, smiled like she'd waited all year to hear me be insulted. You can help us with the decorations later, dear, she said, patting my hand. Business talk would bore you. They thought I was harmless. Weak. Ignorable. My phone buzzed under the table. A text from my CFO. Parker Industries has defaulted again. They owe us $6.8 million. Should we proceed with the penalty clause? I stared at the message. While the family that owed me millions laughed in my face, Richard continued his speech. After dinner, the men will meet in my study to discuss the sterling contract. Ethan whispered, Dad, maybe Alina. Kyle, Ethan's older brother, cut him off. Dude, seriously. What's she going to contribute? Pinterest ideas. Laughter again. Their cousin Amanda chimed in. It's not her fault. She doesn't understand business. Not one of them knew that their dying company survived only because of me. Not one of them had ever even asked what I did for a living. Because they assumed they already knew. My phone buzzed again. My CFO texted. Their chief financial officer is calling non-stop. He's panicking. Should I tell him we're enforcing the termination clause? I typed back. No actions yet. I'll decide tonight. Then I looked up. Richard was bragging about a deal he closed in 1998. Talking like he still mattered in the industry. Kyle toasted. To strong men, and strong women who know their place. Something inside me snapped. I set my wine down. Cleared my throat. And said. Very calmly. Actually, Parker Industries is only standing because of me. Silence. Forks stopped. Breaths held. Smiles froze. Richard glared across the table. What did you just say? I leaned forward. Your company hasn't made a profit in 19 months. Your bank closed your credit line. Your suppliers refuse to work with you unless you prepay. Evelyn blinked fast. Alina, how would you know that? I smiled. Because the company keeping Parker Industries alive. The firm that's been covering your supplier costs. The investor who owns your debt. I paused. Is me. Gasps around the table. Someone whispered, what? Kyle's wine glass almost slipped from his hand. I own Monroe Capital LLC, I continued. The financial firm that rescued your company last year. Ethan's jaw dropped. Alina. Monroe Capital is yours. Yes. I founded it. I run it. And for the past year, I've been your father's biggest and only reliable investor. Richard laughed. A slow, nervous, disbelieving laugh. No. No, no. You're lying. Monroe Capital is run by. I turned my phone toward him. My website profile loaded on the screen. Alina Monroe. CEO and founder Monroe Capital LLC. Net worth, $32 million. Featured in Forbes, Business Insider, Washington Business Journal. Ranked, top 20 female financial strategists in America. Evelyn whispered, "Oh my God." Kyle whispered, "No way." Ethan whispered, "Honey, why didn't you ever tell me?" I stared at him. "You never asked." I placed a folder on the table. Inside were numbers. Graphs. Debt documents. Payment records. Parker Industries owes my company $6.8 million. You were 3 weeks from bankruptcy when I stepped in. Richard's face collapsed. You saved us." "No," I corrected. "I invested in you. And your CFO has been lying to you about your losses." Kyle grabbed the papers. His face went white. "Dad. We're way worse than we thought." My CFO called again. I answered on speaker. Parker Industries CFO is begging for an immediate meeting. He says without your next transfer, they can't make payroll. The entire room stared at me. "What should I tell him?" my CFO asked. I looked right at Richard. Then said, "Tell him nothing. I'll decide on Monday whether we continue the contract or terminate our investment entirely." Richard nearly fell back in his chair. "Alina, please. You can't terminate us. We'll lose everything." Evelyn clutched her chest. Kyle ran a hand through his hair. Ethan stood. "Baby, please, don't destroy my family." I looked at all of them. "The problem is, your family destroyed me long before tonight." Richard swallowed hard. "What do you want?" I stood slowly. "My terms are simple." The whole table leaned in. Respect. Decision-making authority. And a permanent seat on the board. If you want Parker Industries to survive, I become chairwoman. Evelyn covered her mouth. Kyle immediately agreed, desperate. "Done." "Yes. Absolutely." Richard nodded shakily. "You have it. You have everything. Just, don't leave us." Ethan walked toward me. "Alina, why didn't you trust me with the truth?" "Because," I said gently, "you never tried to know me. You believed what everyone else believed." His eyes softened. He knew I was right. I grabbed my purse. "I'm going home. You all enjoy the rest of your dinner." Ethan reached for my hand. "Please don't leave." "I'm not leaving you," I whispered. "I'm leaving the version of your family that thought I was nothing." I walked out of that giant mansion, while 17 people sat in stunned silence. Outside, I got into my car. Called my CFO back. "Freeze all payments temporarily," I said. "We'll renegotiate Monday. This time at MY rates." "Understood." "And notify their CFO. All future communication goes through me directly." "Yes." I ended the call. Looked back at the mansion one last time. They had finally seen me. Not as a housewife. Not as a burden. But as the woman who held their entire world in her hands. And for the first time in a long time, I felt powerful. Because I finally stopped hiding who I really was.